Welcome back to the Blockbuster Brothers. Today, we are talking about Lilo and Stitch and Disney. Now, just to give you guys some box office numbers, in 2025, it became the first Hollywood film to exceed $1 billion at the global box office. Um, and it opened at 183 million domestically over Memorial Day weekend, the highest ever for that period, and with a worldwide total of 304 million in just the first weekend. Now, um, you know, there's been a lot of discussion about the overdoing remakes, which is valid, right? Let's stop just churning out the same IPs over and over again. This one did succeed. But Brian, I know you have some thoughts, so I just wanted to hear those.
Well, I think that, you're this is happening more and more, and I think regardless of what people feel about sequels, it's been happening more often than you even think. And a lot of these movies that you think are originals aren't actually. Like these movies from the 90s and 80s and early 2000s are actually remakes. Just they were making stuff, that you didn't know about. I think maybe what we're seeing is the duration between remakes shortening, and I would maybe like to see if there's actual statistical fact besides me just running my mouth can back that up and more of just an eye test. But I actually have, because I think everyone's got their gripes about it. It's a polarizing topic, especially when it comes to anything Disney's making right now or Disney does in general. But the first thing I will say about it, and I've got several points, and one's kind of just talking about the story in general. And the first point I would like to make is that the 3D and the animation, it's kind of funny that it's a live action remake, but still the best parts of it are animated, which I think Stitch was. And Zach Galifianakis kind of being this kind of threw me off. I haven't seen him in a while. They kind of feel like they've reined him in a lot, where he can't be as ridiculous as he once was. So I think there's a little juice, and I'm sorry if I've upset any Zach lovers, because I'm a big fan of him too. It just felt like a much more reined in version of him, which I'd expect on a production of that size. I thought the little girl actually did a great job as well. But like kind of the sister I wasn't in love with was kind of the only character I was like, oh, she feels like she's overacting a little bit. But I thought, this is pretty good. Like I'm really liking Stitch. I think that this is charming. So you know what? I get why it did well. I think that they're staying a little bit true. I think people were upset about the older sister who's taking care of Lilo just goes to college and leaves her. But to be honest, she wasn't doing a great job raising the girl. I know family's important, but if your family's not treating you right, then I don't know. But that's a whole nother discussion that I don't really want to get into. I actually kind of want to get into a little bit more. What I thought and kind of hit me as watching this was, I was like, oh crap, this, I know the original idea. I know how the idea and what I speculate is where the idea for Lilo and Stitch originated from in the writer's room back in Disney, back when they were first doing the animation. What it was is they wanted to build a movie off of, hey, Pinocchio, when I wish upon a star, the shooting star. That was Disney's huge thing, like the shooting star, make a wish, dreams come true. That's the foundation of Disney. And they wanted to do a more current rendition of A Wish Upon a Star, where that star actually is just an alien falling towards Earth. And I was like, okay, that was the original idea. Whereas like, hey, well, let's do another Wishing Upon a Star story, but let's have it be like kind of a cute alien where that star is actually a falling alien. And and I was like, okay, that's really cool. And what I think, so like kind of, that was the main point I wanted to bring up. I wanted to kind of inject it into the society and think if I was right about that, but it feels kind of true in my heart.
Was it as
Because
good
she
as the
makes a wish.
first?
I mean, no, I mean, you can't.
How big of
But
a gap, though? Yeah,
I think it's just like a whole different charm. I think it still did a good job, especially with Stitch. I think Stitch was the truest. Whereas like, okay, this is his energy. I think Lilo's a little bit different, of course, and kind of the whole family and everything else is got a different tone. So, I think at the end of the day, they're getting closer. They're getting closer. If we look at this as in a macro view of what Disney's been making, they're getting closer. I think that they're still like injecting a little bit of their ideology into it of as all art kind of does. But again, I think you should always stray towards a reality. And I think that there's some moments in there. Well, what am I talking about? It's I think it's good. No ways is going to top something like that. It'd be really hard to, but I think in no means, and I think the box office reinforces that this was a failure. They're at least getting some portions of it. So I think it was good. Let me know if we're off or I'm off with either of my speculations, any of them, if you think that I'm completely wrong. But we appreciate you all watching nonetheless, and we'll catch you all on another episode of the Blockbuster Brothers.